outside of that. I'm hoping the mic works. Hang out for a little bit, I guess. If anybody ever wants to talk to me, you can at me on Discord. My name on there is MattyAlley64. In case anybody sees the stream, I'm just trying to get a little company and maybe chat with some people if they come through. So we'll see. See how that goes. What's up, Reno? I hope you're doing well too, man. That was quick. That was super quick. Hope you're doing good, buddy. I'm hanging in. No, I'm not monetized. I need views. It's the view problem. You need like 3 million in 3 months in shorts, or I think it's 3,000 in a year on long form content. So I'm not monetized, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about being monetized. Yeah, you just need, it's the viewership that's the issue. But you can go live at any time on YouTube. There's no subscriber count or anything. How is Thailand? I do watch your videos. I suppose I should be supportive and fucking like them and shit. You know what I mean? I use Streamlabs Mobile. I think it's called Streamlabs Mobile. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Streamlabs. I just have Streamlabs on my phone, and then you click go live, and it'll ask you to sign into whatever account you want to go to. So then I click YouTube, and I signed in on YouTube, and it let me go live. I went live a couple months ago. Well, not a couple months ago. I go live every now and again. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I could definitely be supporting you back. You know what I mean? So, what's going on? What's the whole dynamic? Did you meet somebody online or something, and then just go to Thailand to see them, or just one day you were like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to Thailand, and then you got on a plane and left? What's the deal? It got cold, so you're like, fuck it, I'm going to Thailand? All right, I respect it. Oh, fair enough. So you didn't know anybody or anything. You just showed up in Thailand. Pretty solid. That's basically how I got to California. Got on a bus and just ended up here. Fuck, I wish I had ibuprofen or something. Damn. I took my migraine medication a couple minutes ago, but it's not really, I've got a tension headache or something. You got lost for a few days? Yeah, I would imagine so. Have you had anybody try to rip you off or scam you or anything like that? So I know I guess it depends on the area, same as every country or city or anything like that. Anywhere you go in the world, there's bad neighborhoods. Yeah, I get it's hard because when I start getting a little manic because of the bipolar, the PTSD doesn't really weigh on me. So I'm a little happier and focused. Still tired. I'm always tired, but I'm in better spirits. But once the manic part wears off and the lows start to hit, the weight of the PTSD and stuff and all the memories start to kind of crush me, I get ganged up on. You know what I mean? But I'm doing all right. I make it through the bad days too. You know. Oh, your battery's about to die? Fair enough. Well, hopefully in the future we get to talk more. I don't have enough money to justify streaming more, but I figured it'd help me pass the time a little bit. Maybe stop me from being a little alone, you know what I mean? Oh, you plugged it in? Fair enough. But yeah, so as far as live streaming, I know Twitch. I actually did that for kind of a job for a little over a year. It was a full-time income. I was paying a mortgage and supporting a family and stuff, streaming full-time. Over full-time. I was doing 70, 80 hours a week streaming on Twitch. So I don't know any of the YouTube stuff. $42 a month? Damn. So are you retired? Oh, gotcha. And I guess when you're used to living in a shack down by the river, anywhere works, you know what I mean? Oh, you have a few rentals? So what's the deal with living in like your little shack? You were living in like a, that's what you were referring to it as anyway. No real heat or power. I mean, shit, if I had rentals, that's what I would do. Yeah, I was just thinking that like one of my goals is to actually get a house, but I would probably rent it out, you know what I mean? Or like a trailer, and I would just rent it out. Keep the overhead down, keep some profit coming in, you know? Fair enough, that's pretty fucking cool, though. It's a good way to do things. Luckily, it's not like... I've been burning myself, so I have like a heating blanket in here that works sometimes. But the way it's like set up, like the coils are super close to the surface. So like it'll touch my belt. My belt will actually make contact through the blanket with the coils. And it'll heat my belt loop up, dude. And I'll wake up to it like burning my stomach. It was a $500 mobile home, and it's been bringing in $400 a month for 10 years. Hell yeah. Where about is that at? I forgot. You were in Ohio? I forgot where you said. You had told me a long time ago when I first started doing shorts where you were from. Yeah, I was thinking about you the other day because I haven't seen you comment on any of my stuff. Middle America? Fair enough. Would you consider? I think I would consider Ohio Middle America. You are seeing cool stuff. You're living like... I was just going to say you're like living the dream, but it's not like in America, which is funny. The American dream, you're feeling it in Thailand. Because like I watch your videos, it's just like you talk about the massages a lot, but it seems like you're just kind of hanging out and eating different types of food. Like, you know what I mean? $4 an hour? Are they good? I haven't had a decent massage in fucking years. I used to go once a week. Big part of like keeping your head good is like keeping your body good. So I used to be into like going to the gym and eating healthy and what do you call it? Like get massages. A few months ago, and I destroyed my back. I was doing the chiropractor and physical therapy. That was a big thing. She's fixing your hip flexor and sciatica. Damn, $4 an hour. Do you like at least tip? Like, I feel like I would be throwing money around. You know what I mean? You know, instead of the $4 for the hour massage, just giving them like 10, you know? I don't know, though. I don't know much about Thailand. I know a lot of countries don't like when you tip. The lady's doing better than the chiropractor? Hell yeah, dude. That's good, man. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. I have some anchors here where I live, so my desire to leave the state or the country is not there. I know I don't want to be living in fucking California the rest of my life. There's no fucking way. I left Massachusetts because of the politics, and it is so much worse in California. Yeah, I've seen it on your videos. I was just curious. But yeah, I know a lot of places it's just a straight up like slap in the face if you tip. Because like it's you know what I mean? What's up, Jason? Nice to see you, buddy. North Carolina? Yeah, I grew up in I was born in South Carolina. I do like the Carolinas. Well, yeah, everybody likes tips, but I know a lot of places like insult, like if it's too high, like you're saying like I know some places they take it as a slight of like you're pretty much calling them dumb for not knowing what their weight should be type of thing. And then you were born in Springfield, Mass. When did you leave? I lived in Springfield, Mass for 2013 to I think we left I left in 2016? Nice, Reno. The question everybody wants to know in your videos when you're talking about massages. You motherfucker, dude. Yeah, I went to, I got released to Boston. I was staying at a VA shelter there, and then it closed, the, like, building I was living in. So then, I think I was just like most vets, I guess. I got a little too in love with the bottle, and then I was doing street drugs and stuff, so I went to the rehab there. 1996, it would have been known as the Marathon House, at the top of the hill. It's the Phoenix House now, but I went to a 1-year dual diagnosis rehab. So I was very glad for my time there. I got sober, so I'll have 5 years in April now, so that's pretty cool. And it's different. The East Coast I don't know if you've ever been on the West Coast. Oh, your mom worked with them? Hell yeah. Yeah, I completed the rehab and I lived in a halfway house in the Historical Society. I don't even remember the address. Bowdoin Street, I think. Bowdoin, however you want to pronounce it. There's drug counseling. Did she stay there long? Yeah, there's no way I would have had her as a counselor 20 plus years later or something, you know what I mean? That would have been fucking wild, though. I don't know, there were some counselors there that had been there for a long time. I think, what was her name? Miss Lloyd, I think, worked there for 20-something years already when I was there. So I bet you your mom knows some of the people that helped save my life when I first got back. Because I lived on the streets for a little while when I first got back, and then I went to rehab. But it was a good choice for me. For sure. So what do you do now, Jason? What are you up to these days? She moved to North Carolina when you were 16. Gotcha. So it is possible. I mean, 99, it's not a stretch. It's only, 24 years later. I mean, it's not possible that I knew her. But probably the counselors that were there that knew her. I mean, Rob was new. He's the new director. And he was just, him directing was the first year I was there. Jed might have been there. He got released on parole from prison to that job, and he had been there a long time. You work in airplane parts, like third-hand sales, manufacturing, like Wyman Gordon, like what? It's broad. It's very broad. Do you like your job, though? Logistics, fair enough. I did, I actually ran analytics for Smith & Wesson for about almost 4 years. It's actually the longest job I had that's the longest job I had since I enlisted, actually. That's awesome. I'm glad you're liking your job, dude. That's super important. And I'm sure like, you're probably on the... Oh, it's weird. So I was looking at my demographics of people who watch my videos. It seems like I'm really appealing to 55 and older, which is very fucking interesting to me. But your uncle worked at Smith & Wesson? Hell yeah. Yeah, I was there. I started as a temp in 2013, like making $11 an hour. And I worked my way up to doing the analytics. 42, fair enough. Yeah, I did analytics there. I did everything there from inspection to running CNC machines, quality control. I did analytics for about a year there, but I was with the temp agency for about 3 months. I was pretty much told them, I was like, I'll leave if, you don't give me a permanent job here. And they're like, okay, which they don't really do. And then they actually paid for my engineering degree, which I liked it. I got fired real hard though. That was the first, I was doing really good, a few years sober, got my degree. I was in therapy. I think just the drastic lifestyle change, sleeping inside every day and You know, I was just starting to dabble in like getting on the right medications to like handle my stuff. So I think it was like the like pink cloud stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, where like you quit drinking and doing drugs, so like everything's good. Like you're not getting in trouble anymore. Like you're not falling downstairs in the middle of the night, like shit like that. So everything was really good, and then like the stress started getting to me. I was doing too much, and like just fucking spiraled out of control a little bit. And I got in a fight. I got in a physical altercation, and it was funny because my girlfriend at the time, they're like, if the person you got in a fight with doesn't care, like I was on nights, like the people didn't care. I was like, babe, I got in a physical altercation at a gun manufacturer. Like, no, you can't. You don't get to keep your job ever. That's like the main rule. You know what I mean? I'm liking what I'm doing for work now. It's just the pay's not great, but I like the job, and they're willing to pay down the road here in a little bit when we start getting more clients. They're willing to pay for me to go get a counseling to be a peer support counselor. So it's a little bit of schooling, but they like me there, and I'm good with the clients. I feel like I fit in. It's nice because of my own stuff, I've done a lot of research in the mental health side. And like schizophrenia and severe PTSD and bipolar 1, they're kind of married. Similar symptoms, like I can start hearing and seeing shit. Like I have trouble with sleep. I have trouble with routine now. Stuff like that. So like I get to look at it and be like, no, I get it. Like this is how I feel. And they're like, oh yeah, like that's exactly it. So a lot of like stuff like that. So yeah, I got to start familiarizing myself with that. That's a relatively new term, commonplace term, is complex PTSD. Because most people usually I think have one or the other. Where I'm not like that, because like I got diagnosed with bipolar 1 when I was 8. And then, I did 47 and a half months in the active army and came back all sorts of fucked up. So like I definitely have PTSD, and like I have shit from my childhood that would warrant a PTSD diagnosis. But I don't know. I get really confused with social media because like it's trendy to be autistic and to have PTSD and trauma, and it's all this like my experience is I've never wanted attention for it. Like anything I have going on in my head, I don't like having attention for it. And it's funny, I was talking to a close friend of mine about making the YouTube shorts, and like he's known me for 5 years. He's known me like the entire time I lived in California. And like he's like, you don't like to talk about that stuff. And we're talking. I was like, some of those videos I make, those 1 minute ones, the long ones, like some of those 1 minute videos can take me fucking almost an hour to make, because I struggle talking about like the important feeling parts of things. I don't want to draw attention to it. Yeah, it's okay. I just figured. I appreciate that, Reno, very much. And if they do, they do. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I've been awake. I slept for a little bit. I got some sleep after work the other day. I don't know how long I've been awake. That's the kind of an issue I have. I never know really how long I've been awake, and I don't pay attention to how much I sleep. But I've been laying here awake for a while, so I was like, oh, I'll go live on YouTube for a bit. I feel that. I don't know. Well, I guess I have similar stuff. I got like, my dad was like a very brutal guy, and my mom was schizophrenic. So like, I didn't get the typical like punishments. It was like, I have like scars from being burnt with cigarettes and stuff like that. Not being fed for a while, constant trips to the hospital, interviews with CPS, stuff like that. So I'm sure similar things to that you experienced. But yeah, I'm prone to panic attacks, and I have a little bit of a rage problem myself. I've done better though. I haven't been in a physical. Yeah, it's hard. Like, I'm sure you've done it too, where like I was talking about it with my therapist last year. And before I could even think about it, it came out of my mouth. And I was like, some of those beatings I did probably deserve. And then I like kept talking, and my therapist was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, give me an example. So I gave him an example, and he's like, you were 9. Like, what? And it's like something that happens in your head, I guess. But I haven't been in a physical altercation since mid 2019. So it's been a while. I'm not freaking out. I don't break things anymore. I haven't broken anything in a while. I mean, I put a hole in the wall. I don't want to talk too much in detail, but I end result is I put a hole in the wall a couple years ago, like 2 years ago. So like, that was the thing, because like I don't really give too much into them. I actually think some of them are comical. I get a lot of fucking horrible comments on some of my videos, just bad. They're just fucking sick, really. And it's like to the point where like anything really fucked up, I laugh at. That's part of having trauma, is traumatic things, you just end up laughing at them. It's a defense mechanism. It has nothing to do with thinking it's actually funny. Oh, I don't mind, Rena. I'm transparent about my past. Because I'm trying to not give it power anymore. But like, so like pretending what didn't happen, it's not there, isn't going to help it. I tried that, it doesn't work. That's what a lot of my drinking was. But yeah, the haters, it's just some of it's really fucking funny, and a lot of it's sad. Like, there's a couple in the past couple days where I was just like, I'm sorry you're struggling too. Like, and I wish you like joy and happiness in life. Good luck. Like, some of it's just kind of nuts. Especially the ones that are like, when I'm talking about how I'm feeling about being back from the military, which I just kind of started doing before it was like mental health stuff or like a little life updates or whatever. But I've gotten some real nasty shit. And it's like, you had choices. And I'm like, my choice was to keep living in my childhood or figure out a way to get out. So I did the early enlistment program. Being human, part of being human is being fallible and imperfect and like struggling. It's all perspective. Like, you can beat anything with, if you can hold the right perspective on things or find the right perspective. It's just finding it's really difficult. It's almost impossible sometimes. My neck is fucking killing me. Looking around to see if I have anything to put pressure on it. Sometimes putting pressure on a tension headache helps. I don't have any like ice or ibuprofen or anything like that, but I'll just sit here with it for a little while. But yeah, I also found it comical, like, there was this whole like, you had choices, like, you're not a victim, the US government didn't make you a victim. But I pulled up their YouTube account and had a couple shorts on there, and it linked their TikTok account. And their TikTok account is all videos about people getting stuck in the projects and the government building a system to keep them there, and it's not their choice and it's not their fault. And like, I'm a firm believer in the US, like, the system is fucking everybody the exact same way. It just might look different. The recipe is a little different, but everybody's kind of getting fucked. So I don't think that's a valid argument. And I really don't like hypocrisy, even though I can be sometimes very hypocritical of things. But stuff like that is kind of funny when you start looking. Or like the video I made the other day of someone calling me a dimwit, idiot, veteran and stuff. If you look up their YouTube account, it's a fucking high school kid. They're probably like 14. Their balls haven't dropped yet. Like, they should, like, I don't, like, that's where I'm, like, we need to come up with something, like, I don't think 18 you should be allowed to vote. Like, that's where I'm at on things. I feel like that'd fix a lot of shit if you had to be like 35 to vote. that would never happen. But like, damn, because like this, it's just especially with this whole social media thing. Like, I was born at the like when technology really started peaking and advancing is when I was born, and like we didn't have access to it, and like shit was so simpler. I mean, I was living in South Carolina, so like a lot different than Massachusetts, but like some of the shit on social media is just fucking is wild, dude. Something and like I've been to other countries. I've been to a ton of other countries. We are so fucking spoiled here. Like I don't know how people can make like videos on being oppressed while they're sipping a Starbucks. Like I have no idea how that could be a thing. You made it back. Welcome back, buddy. I need. Actually, I might have. Hold on a second. I'll be right back, guys. I might actually have ibuprofen. I have a little triage kit I made for other homeless people that might have shit in it I could take. They do. Yeah, they struggle hard for their money for sure, Reno, but I bet you they're a lot more pleasant. I have well, yeah, no, there's no that's the one of the big things about the US right now is how bad substance abuse is. But I did TikTok stuff. I did TikTok. I did like a daily update on how I was feeling. And it never really took off. And I had a lot of like homosexual people saying really kind of horrible things to me in DMs because I was like, I'd do it on here if it was a feature. Like I tell people my Discord and stuff. But if like someone needed to talk or wanted to chat or anything, you can always hit me up on Discord. Like, and it's a like personal way to communicate without giving up personal information. So there's a level of comfort to it. But like I was getting some like really weird solicitations on TikTok, so I stopped doing that. And then I used Facebook up until 2017. And I was keeping in contact with my old unit. And then like Marshall, I haven't been able to get a hold of. Nobody really knows where he is. I talked to his ex-wife about 5 years ago, and she hadn't heard anything from him. So nobody's heard from him in a while. So I don't know if he just went off grid, if he's, at the bottom of a river somewhere. I have no idea, but I don't really have anybody from my unit anymore. Well, that's the thing. Well, there's definitely crime, Reno. 100%. Unchecked crime. But that's one of that exists everywhere there's a human. Everywhere on the planet there's a human or a populace of humans, there is crime. That's just simple as that. But it's just way less. I guarantee you're not going to deal with as many drug addicts as you would in any place in the United States because we have such a huge problem. But I noticed that about going to different places in the Middle East. Like, we call it impoverished, and they are so, like, emotionally wealthy, it's ridiculous. There's a lot of emotional wealth. Because, like, they'll have nothing. What we view as nothing because they have, dirt floor and they're not living in a modernized American home. So we say they're in poverty, and they'll invite 6-7 people in for dinner. You'll sit at their table with them and eat what they got. A lot of places are like that. I'm hoping he's okay too. Part of the not knowing anything is like he could just be off grid. I get to tell myself that. I don't, but in the back of my head, it's always I might be the last one left. And that's kind of sad, but yeah, and that's a lot of thing too, because like we have, our court system's kind of whack, so like there are some places where corporal punishment is the thing. You don't spend time in a cell, but they'll lop a finger off, they'll beat you in the street for whatever you do. And, like, it's a deterrent. That's an actual deterrent for crime. Yeah, that's how I lost my sister in 2019. That's how I know the last physical altercation I got in, because I got in a fist fight with her fiance in the parking lot at the hospital. So I know a lot of guys in my unit took the faster way out when they got back, and then some that OD'd. A couple, two aspirated in their own vomit in their sleep from drinking. A couple car wrecks. Yeah, that was a big thing. It's happening here where I live now, but the big thing back in Boston and Springfield is how much fentanyl and heroin's around, and like that's what we push. And like we're over, I think it's a quarter of the population right now. A quarter of the United States population has some form of substance abuse issue, whether alcohol or drugs. And if you Google it, it says 20%, but they don't include alcohol. So if you include alcohol, that's like another 15%, but there's overlap. And then you have to find a different statistic that talks about abusing prescribed pain medication, or abusing prescribed medication, rather. Which there's always overlap. Like when I was doing my shit, it was drugs, alcohol, and whatever I could get prescribed. You know what I mean? So like, I think you could extrapolate it to about 25%. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at, Jason. It just kind of feels like I'm the last man standing, and it sucks. I also got extremely numb to it. I used to write poems. You do hit a certain point. I think it was somewhere in my second extension, because I got extended a lot. Felt like I got extended forever. But new people rotating in, I didn't really talk to them. You stop saying hello because it makes the goodbyes easier. You know what I mean? Like, I'd play cards and like you'd still joke around and shoot the shit, make fun of each other or whatever, but I knew their names. I at least did that, but I didn't really get close. Like, after the second year, I didn't get close to anybody anymore. You've lost 5 friends to dope. It happens everywhere, and like, it's like really weird to me that people don't, like, people view it as a choice. I can't be on disability, It's the part I haven't been ready to do a short on. I'm dishonorably discharged after the equivalent of 3.5 tours. I got dishonorably discharged in 2012. And they just came out with the new ruling that you can appeal. But I've written governors and stuff. But I had like accommodation, I got medals and all that stuff, and really what it boiled down to is I broke a rule, you know what I mean? A pretty big rule, but I broke a rule, and that was it. It's get in front of Trump, yeah. Honestly, I think, like, I don't try to get into the political side of things. I do share my opinions, and they do have political undertones. But, like, I do think if any president we've had in my lifetime would help me, it would be him. No, the Administration of Veteran Affairs is not doing a very good job. But they did make it that there's a new appeal process. I think it's for anybody who got out after 2015. I think there's a whole new appeal process for if you want to change your discharge status. No, I don't. One of the big reasons because I could push, like I could get lawyers and stuff and push. I can do that. Um, but what do I do after that? You know what I mean? Like if I get full disability, like I guess I just keep working. But right now, one of the big things that keeps me working is the money. I kind of have a fear that if you take the money component away, I won't work and I'll just lay in bed depressed with my thoughts. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I need to work. Like it needs to happen. I need a reason to get up. I need structure in my life, and I need money. Like the big important one right now is money. I'm looking for a second job. Because well, once we get more clients, I'm gonna go back to overtime. But I need something to fill my time because I'm only working. You know. Yeah, and that's where I'm at. I need a job that keeps me busy. What's going on, everyday Esperanto? I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's good to see you, man. Yeah, I wouldn't go. I'm not leaving the state though. I have I have anchors here, is what I call them. There are people like I'm not very great at caring for myself all the time, but there's a lot of people I care about here that I wouldn't leave. But yeah, I've always had a need for a job, and like I've tried hobbies. Like I get into hobbies, um, but they don't hold me. You know what I mean? I'm in California right now. Esperanto is an international language. Interesting. Yeah, I'm in. Well, at least luckily it's Northern California, so it's um not as hyper liberal as Southern California, but like it's still under the gross umbrella of California politic. What's the? I need to like do some research on what the most mind your business state is, and just go there. Where they just like let people just kind of do whatever they want the most. I feel like it'd be Alaska. I feel like it'd have to be Alaska. Like I feel like Alaska, they don't care what bathroom you use, and also if you want to have a tank, go ahead. I feel like Alaska just they don't give a fuck. Arizona? Yeah, but Florida is like super conservative. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to live in a super conservative place, but I don't want to live in a hyper liberal place either. I want something that's like kind of right up the middle where you can do whatever you want and people just kind of exist. Within the US because there's plenty of places I would rather live that are not the United States. This place is a fucking joke. What's up, Anthony? North Carolina. See, I did like South Carolina. New Hampshire's just really expensive, Anthony. It's a big thing. I know people that lived um, in New Hampshire. I had family back there. Kind of on the expensive side. Well, I guess it depends. Really, like that's the other thing. If you only take like a small sample size, like that's like everybody thinking California is all like 100% liberal, and it's not. It's just like it's under 60% are liberal here. Are Democratic, like especially where I live. Most of the people here are Republicans. It's different. Yeah, the tax is probably pretty bad, but like I survived in Massachusetts, and I've been, I mean, albeit, I've been homeless a couple times or whatever, and I'm living in a detached garage right now, but like I'm in California, so like I clearly don't care about taxes. Like, is Canada a state? No, not yet. Be cool if it was. I don't think Canada's the spot either for me. I think like I mean there's parts of Europe that I think would be cool. I think Germany would be cool. Scotland, Ireland, or Greenland I think would be pretty cool. All the lands really. Finland would be cool. I think those would be alright spots. I am Anthony, yeah. It was in 08 to 12. How many states I've been to? 49. I have never been to Hawaii. If you boil it down to states I've lived in longer than a year, 6. You were 09 to 14? Fair enough. Yeah, I did a lot of traveling. I got into a phase, like I've done it. 2019, I traveled from coast to coast 3 times on Greyhound buses. You were corpsman? Fair enough. I was Army. Just 11 Bravo. But yeah, I used to love to travel. You meet some interesting people. You hear all sorts of different stories too. Long Greyhound trips, they're not the most comfortable, but like you definitely meet some interesting people. I watched somebody completely lose their mind on a female TSA employee. Oh, you're from South Africa? Oh, hey, you're from South Africa. Adventure Time. Nice to meet you, man. Every time, so I've met a few people from South Africa, and every fucking time my head goes, "Oh, what part?" Because I always forget for some fucking reason there's an entire fucking country at the very bottom of Africa named South Africa, and I don't know why the fuck I do it. They're just like, "Yeah, I'm from South Africa." I was like, "Oh, what part?" Like South Africa. Like, nice to meet you. Oh, thank you, Jason. I appreciate you, man. Durban? Yeah, I'm not even. That's the thing. Like, when it comes down to the actual country of South Africa, I know exactly where it is, but I don't know anything about it. The last person I talked to that was from South Africa was trying to find a remote job, and I think we actually found her a remote job in Utah for like $8 an hour, but she was all about it. It's near the coast. Which one? You have an east, a west, and a southern coast. And thank you for the sub, Jason. I appreciate you, man. South Coast, so you're like at the tip. I got to go to the Sudan for a couple weeks. I use the terminology "got to go" very loosely. I went to the Sudan for a couple weeks, and I got to see a sunset. And I will say that will be one of the most memorable moments of my entire life. Oh, I need someone to just like knead my neck like a motherfucker for like not even long, like 10-15 minutes. Fucking shit, it's driving me fucking nuts. It's a stress thing too, I know it. It's not a I got wound up. That's why I started streaming, because my head started kind of getting a little wound up. It's 5:30 p.m. here right now. Sorry, 5:30 a.m. Not too much is happening here. I'm just hanging out. I got a mixture of bored, sad, and lonely all at the same time, so I figured I'd click go live and see if a couple people wanted to say hi or whatever. That's really it. So not too much going on. Do you mean like in the United States, the city I live in, the garage I live in? Like we can boil it down a little bit. What am I doing for work? I work at an SRF, so it's a social rehabilitation facility. So we take people that have like mental health disabilities, like paranoid schizophrenia and stuff like that, and we teach them life skills and coping skills and find them more permanent placement. So we do 1 year increments. So that's what I do. Yeah, PTSD is part of it. There are people that have PTSD that kind of takes them out of the ability to integrate with society. So you do it that way. We teach them how to integrate with society, and I love it. It's one of the most fulfilling jobs I've ever had, I think, and it's like a healing component. I got a lot of fulfillment from the Army, but there was not too much healing happening there. PTSD, like, do I have it? Yes. I have like 1990 PTSD, not 2023 American PTSD. You know what I mean? I think that's a very clear-cut distinction. But yeah, so it's good. I do I think my favorite part of my job, other than like I'm good at it because like I relate to them a lot. So like I do a group Thursday nights, and it's supposed to be music and dance. So like the other facility that we have up north, they put on like fucking pop and shit, and they just like hang out in the living room and dance a little bit and just kind of be silly. But I've been doing we take turns picking songs and talking about like why that song's important. Like they'll pick one up, like, why did you pick that? And they'll start talking about it and stuff. So yeah, right. I like it. They're gonna put me in school. I gotta get my peer support specialist certificate first, and then after that, I'll get my peer support counselor. It'll be like 1,500 hours, but they're gonna pay for schooling, and there's been talks of potentially making me an administrator. And that would be somebody that runs a facility. Yeah, I struggle with medication compliance myself, which is funny because that's one of the big things we have to teach them is how to be compliant with their medication. And like, I do really, really well on my meds for like a year or two, and then I don't know what the fuck it is. I think I'm all better, or I don't know what the hell happens. I'm pretty sure like what actually happens is after a couple years, or even shorter, your body gets used to your medications, so that actually the effect starts to slow down. And there's like this tipping point where like I build up a tolerance enough, and then my head dumps, and I just say, fuck it, I'm not taking them anymore. You know what I mean? Well, that's good, Anthony. I'm big into like I don't think a lot of my stuff can be fixed. I just don't. Like, I think I know in my heart that it can't be fixed. But I'm trying to find a way to live with it as is. Like, I'm not really trying to fix it anymore. I'm just trying to live with what I have. And like, I think a big part of that is just knowing you're not alone in it. So like, someone who's never been through shit can't put their hand on my shoulder and tell me, I understand. And like, I know they understand. That's the big thing that I miss about when I was in the service is like, I didn't have to fucking say anything to anybody. They just knew what the fuck was going on. There was no, I didn't have to explain anything. I didn't have to hear about their problems. Like, you know, if one of us had a shit day, it's because all of us had a fucking bad day, and we all knew. Like, we didn't have to, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't have to fucking, there was no conversation to be had. We just played cards and knew it was a bad day. And you knew at the end of the day, it didn't fucking matter. The person fucking sleeping next to you would fucking take a bullet for you if they had to. That's the part of it I miss. I miss the fucking strength of family that you feel. Yeah, right dosage is very important. And I think that's a lot of what happens with medication, because I watch, is one of the biggest things like I have hatred from my mom about, is like I watched her for years get on her medication for her schizophrenia, and then she would be a mom for a little while, and then she'd stop taking her medication. And like I do that a lot. I stop taking my medication too much. So right now I think I'm doing a lot better with it. But it's still, I don't know, the best time I had with medication was when I first got sober, and they over medicated me. Like to the point where like I was basically drooling on myself every day. I think I needed it then, but like that's one of my big things too. Like, what was my point in getting sober if I get on mental health medications and I'm just numb anyway? So like that's a dosage thing. Is that so? I don't. If that's like an emote, I'm guessing that's like an emote. The hand purple blue piece. I'm guessing that's an emote. So I don't know how to get those to pop up on my phone or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing it's emote, but I don't know what they mean. I'm like, I was talking to Reno about, like, I know how to do stuff with Twitch because I did it for so long, but the YouTube stuff is super new to me. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah, I still do it sometimes, but I like walking at night too. It's just quiet. A big part of it is just it's quiet, it's peaceful. And then I like going down near there's a spot actually up the street that um is a bridge, so like you can hear the water and stuff of the river underneath. I like that. Just something about, I don't know what it is, being around water helps me a lot. The mind is definitely very powerful. That's how people make it through crazy things. Like you don't hear too much of it anymore because it's not trendy. But like, if you go back to reports on like, people making it through World War II, like some of those stories, it's like, what the fuck, And that's just people fucking, their heads were strong. And like I remember when I enlisted, my head was strong. My head was strong. It had to be to make it through my childhood. And like I haven't felt strong in a long time. Until some shit hits the fan. Like if some fucking tragedy or emergency happens, I am fucking who you want next to you, 100%. But as soon as the tragedy or stress is gone, I'm gone. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of. Yeah, it was nice. I got to enjoy the sound of the rain today. We're under a flood warning. California's doing fucking crazy shit. When I first moved here, we were in like the longest drought in history, and now it's fucking, we're getting flood warnings every week. But real heavy rain all day. It actually just stopped. Now it's all frogs. Yeah, I would have never thought I'd be living here. Never in a million fucking years would I think I would end up getting on a bus and moving to California. It wasn't like a conscious choice, to be fair. Like now that I'm here, I'm going to stay until the people I care about want to leave. But if I was in the right state of mind, I would have never came to California. There's no fucking way, dude. Well, that's the thing. Like, it's the rules not making sense, right? So, like, you're in a tent on a fob, right? With guys that you've been living with and doing everything with for 6 months, and there's a dispute, you just beat the shit out of each other, and then you go back to being brothers again. Like, there's no, the shit don't fit. If it's not important enough to fist fight over, it's not important. If it is important to fist fight over, you fist fight, it's handled, done. Like, that's it. And it's super fucking simple. It's that simple. You don't have to worry about someone, hating your guts for years at a time. None of the catty, people pretending they give a shit about you or not. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that shit. And like, it does. I spiral real easy. And especially if, like, it's not self-sabotaging, because I'm doing it as like trying to engage that fucking itch I can't scratch in my head anymore. But like, if things have been too calm and easy for too long, I start to struggle. If I don't have conflict or turmoil in my life, I start to struggle. My head starts to fucking go crazy. Gets all haywire. And it doesn't, like, the bipolar don't help anything either. I feel like that, the bipolar 1 on top of it is just kind of, fuck. I get a lot of relief when I was talking about it earlier, like when I get manic, I'm so focused on 50 other things that I'm not remembering stuff. Like, I'm not remembering the bad stuff. So it gives me like a reprieve. But that being said, I think the crashes get a lot worse, because then I slip into that downward spiral, and all the stuff starts coming back in big waves, and it's just a crushing weight. And like, I get so unbelievably tired, dude. So fucking tired. Impossibly tired. Like, I've been awake my entire fucking life, and I'm just exhausted. I used to love Mania. Oh my god, in my early mid-20s, I fucking loved Mania. It was like having a superpower for a couple weeks. I could work 100 hours a week for fucking months straight and not even break a sweat and still go out on dates and shit. Like, Mania's fucking was great. I loved it. But like, slipping into psychosis and start getting extremely paranoid and doing crazy shit and ending up in the hospital because you're out of your mind, I don't like that part. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like that part of Mania. The spiraling out of control with a smile on your face and all the energy in the world. It's just like, I end up looking like, if you could like mentally envision what a crazy person looks like, that's exactly what I look like. Big fucking eyes and fucking huge smile, and I'm fucking ready to go, and fucking like fucking thinking people are hiding my shit and fucking talking about me and all this crazy stuff. Yeah, I actually started watching TED Talks a few months ago. There's some okay stuff in there. It's a little fucking bougie for me, I think. But there was some good information. Like, I didn't know until a couple months ago that memory impairment was part of having PTSD, which makes sense. If I got a few engagements playing on a loop right now, I'm probably not remembering what you need me to pick up at the grocery store. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Joker. That's exactly it, Anthony. Like, it's very much like, it does. It looks like someone hopped you up on that Joker gas, and you're just fucking, you're there. And like, I relate to it a lot because I see it with the clients at work at least once a day. Once a shift, I'll see it. You can see too much of the whites of their eyes, and they're just grinning and they're laughing, and inside it's just fucking wild. It's the other thing too, Adventure. Like, I struggle to concentrate. If I'm baseline or depressed, I struggle to concentrate because there's too much shit going on. But when I'm manic, I can concentrate on everything. Like, it's a balance thing. I feel like normal people just like get their baseline concentration, and I get like either superhuman concentration or none. Like, I try to, like, my goal is to, honestly, if I had to pick a goal, my goal would be to have a boring humdrum, mundane life. That's it. I want a 40-hour week job, and I want to be able to go on like a vacation for a week. And that's it. I don't want calamity. I want to get home to somebody and bitch about an interaction I had at the grocery store and call it a day. You know what I mean? Hang out with my dogs. I got a bunch of dogs. No, I don't ride a bike or a motorcycle. I walk a lot. I actually just got my license again a few months ago, and I got to get my truck on the road. But I do have my license now. But I get really bad anxiety when I drive. Like, pull over and contemplate if I have to call 911 anxiety. It's not good. Full blown panic attacks, really. I've gotten better. Getting my license was difficult because I had to drive around with somebody else in the car, and like it's worse if I have somebody else in the car. But I just gotta get money to get my truck on the road, and it's good on gas actually. It's a 99. I'm like looking right at it. It's a 99 XLT Ford Ranger, so it gets like 20 miles per gallon or 22, something like that. And it needs a little bit of love, but I would be looking forward to like putting on some music and going on a drive. That'd be cool. I think that'd help. Try to clear my head a little bit. Maybe go up to the dam up the road and fucking gun it. You know what I mean? Does talking about it help? Sometimes. It depends. I'm a big advocate for therapy. I think talking about it depends on the nature of how you're talking about it. When I'm actively having anxiety or a panic attack, talking about it does not help. I think all the talking I've done about it, like I've been in therapy for fucking 10 years. Like for a good chunk of my life, I was doing therapy twice a week. And I've been in and out of hospitals and institutions since I was a kid. And I think I'd be way worse off if I never talked about it. But like talking about it does help, I think. Helps me. It depends on the nature of the talking too, because sometimes I need to talk about it and get a solution. And that's how most people are normally geared. So like you'll see me post a short about like how I'm feeling or like a symptom of PTSD I'm struggling with at the time. And it's funny because I get a lot of engagement on those videos because people are assuming I'm looking for an answer. I'm looking for a solution. Most of the stuff I make, like the little shorts I make, that's just me venting. That's all it is. It's letting the release valve off. You know what I mean? So like that's the thing too, where like therapy is very like you go there with the intent to find a solution. And I think when you're just talking about it casually, like you just need somebody to talk to about something, it's a vent. You don't need a solution. You just need someone to listen and tell you it'll be okay. Like that's it. And that's when it comes to like, especially with like combat vets, just doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be the same war. We just know. We know. You know what I mean? Like I can go. I've done it. I've talked to Vietnam vets about how I feel about stuff, being over in Iraq, and like I can see it in their fucking eyes. They get it. Like we don't. It's not. It's its own hidden language. What do I do for fun? I play games sometimes. Play video games. That's really it. I don't actually have a lot of fun in my life. I guess you could call it fun. I like being at work. I joke around with the clients a lot, and I joke around with like the nurse. I'm there at nights by myself, but I have fun at work. But outside of that, I don't really have too much fun in my life. I watch a lot of movies, and I watch a ridiculous amount of YouTube. But it's not fun. It's killing time and trying to occupy my head. I'm not like sitting here laughing and stuff. I try. I don't. I think I'm a pretty authentic person. That's funny though. Like some of those shorts, depending on what I'm talking about, they can take me an hour or more to come out with a 1-minute video, because I usually make them. That's part of. It's actually the shorts are like part of me processing and trying to heal from things. So like my shorts are the release valve. You're getting stuff that I've been racking my brain with for years, and I'm just like, bleh, here you go. You know what I mean? I don't have too many. I struggle maintaining friendships. I struggle really hard maintaining friendships. I don't ever seem to put enough effort into a friendship. Like, I'm not the type of person that texts you or call you every day or every couple days. Like, I have a couple close friends that I'll talk to maybe once every couple of weeks, and I might see them once a month for a little bit. But I'm like, I don't like being around people not by my choice. So like, if you're like, yeah, let's go do this, and then it's like at that whole like, all right, I'm done doing this, but like I don't drive, so you gave me a ride, so I'm done doing this, but you're not done doing this, but I want to go. So like I like doing stuff online, like when I used to stream on Twitch, because there was a control component to it where like if I was done and I was burnt out or like I needed to be alone, I could be like, okay guys, I gotta be alone, bye. And that's the other thing too that Adventure Time just said, like not a lot of people kind of understand how I function, which the online stuff has helped a lot because it's a global net. Like, yeah, sure, I'm only getting shown to, what is it, 8,000 people on average, and 3,000 of them, or like 1 to 2,000, I guess, is my average, are actually watching them, half of them. But the net, I come across more people online that can understand. So, like, online stuff is easier for me. And it's levels of trauma. So like everybody has a level of trauma. Like your most painful experience will always be your most painful experience. It has nothing to do with my level of painful experience. But like one of my best friends that I have, the worst thing he's ever dealt with was his grandma passing away last year. That's it. He's 40 years old. That was the worst thing. So like we have trouble connecting over stuff like that, Exactly, Adventure. And like for me it's not even, I could be perfectly just fine for an hour and then I'm bad for 2 and then I'm good for 20. Like my mood swings are I've actually, because I've gotten pretty good at not like internally acknowledging my mood. I do it all the time, little spot checks. So like I've probably kind of mood swing wise, I've probably pivoted twice in the last hour since I started doing the stream. So they can be pretty aggressive. Some days I have a consistent day. I'm actually a little, it sounds kind of fucked up, but like even if I'm really depressed, but it's all day, I prefer that over the up and down all day. The sporadic up and down nonstop shit gets old really fast. I like the mania. I just really don't like what comes after the mania. And I don't like when my brain is freaking out. That's what was going on earlier. It's a little better now, but like earlier it was my I was just angry. I got angry. There's a lot of anger in there. Mad at the world, mad at my choices. Spiteful that not everybody has a brain like mine, so like I feel like that's just the universe playing a cruel joke on me, stupid shit like that. And like I tell myself a lot, like a lot of people say, like one day at a time, it is what it is. The 12 step I hang around with, it's easy does it. Like I've always told myself I'm still at the table. That's it. And I haven't heard anybody else say that. I'm still at the table. We all get dealt the hands we're dealt, but I am still at the fucking table. And that's the important part. I'm not out of chips, you know what I mean? The other one I tell myself is the bullet that's going to kill me has already been fired. My drill sergeant told me that. That's stuck with me for over 10 years now. That's been in my head for a minute, dude. It's just fucking. I don't know what the fuck. Oh, I was I wasn't afraid. I will never admit to being afraid to fucking anything, but I might have been a little uneasy repelling. Little uneasy. And this motherfucker, Real Sergeant Cardenas, looked me dead in the eye, and he's like, "The shot that's going to kill you has already been fired, and there ain't shit you can do about it." And like, I have held that for fucking, not even 12 years, 16 years. Has it been fucking 16 years since basic training? Oh. Fuck. Keep your stick on the ice? That's pretty legit, dude. Keep your tap in the tree? That sounds sexual, my bad. And I think it was a stereotype, probably? No. Everybody likes maple syrup. It definitely sounded like I was making a reference to you fucking a tree, though. That's my bad. That's my fault. I'm gonna get canceled now. I'm gonna lose all 1,080 of my subscribers, and my non-existent revenue is going to disappear. Fuck. I also got canceled on TikTok for like 6 months. That's a thing. Oh, I see the maple leaf. I don't know why the other shit didn't show up. That's pretty rad. I don't know why it looks like that though. Maple leaves don't look like that. I don't know what the fuck that is. No, I want to get my truck on the road. It's a financial issue. My friend gave it to me, which I am very grateful for it, but there's some back registration on it. But I've already gone through it. I've done a little bit of work to it where I could. But like, I have to get the back registration paid off. Then I have to insure it and get the current registration put on it. Then I have to get smog, which it's going to fail smog. Then I have to go back to the registry and pay to get a 30-day permit so I can drive it around to figure out what the fuck's wrong with it, fix it, then get it re-smogged. Like, it's this whole fucking weird process California does. It's weird, dude. But it's a money thing. It's a money pit, and I have bills and responsibilities. I am not the so without saying too much, I am not the only person I am financially responsible for. You gonna see the truck? All right, let's see if this works. I'm working on it. That's my truck. It's not bad. There's something. The power steering is what the last thing I was working on. It needs a good cleaning. But yeah, this is my bed. Look at that shit. I get the fucking ideal setup, dude. That's like the only dude shit I actually do is I fall asleep staring at my truck every night. And then my computer is actually in the tailgate. My computer's in the bed of my truck. But it ain't a bad truck. I got it for free. I mean, it comes with cost because of like fucking the back registration and some work it's got to be done to it. But it's a 99 with 60,000 miles on it. Like, the guy bought it fucking new and like, sad for him, I guess, but he bought it new and like 8 months later died, and they parked the truck here, and it's been parked here since. So like, I think it's like, well, it's been another almost year since he gave it to me, so it took me forever to find a job and forever to start the job. But I think it's only like $900. I would be able to get it. I would be able to drive it to work for like $900, unless there's something extremely wrong with it. I think someone did something to the transmission. The only suspicion I have on that is because there's only 60,000 miles, but the shifter doesn't line up with the column, so it shows that it's in half gear, even though it's fully in gear. Because I brought it out, I drove it down the driveway and shit, moved it around in here and stuff, but. Yeah, some people are like, straight up like, yeah, that's a legit life right there. I'm like, it's not the one I fucking want. So like, a year ago, I was living in a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house with my 5 dogs and my 2 cats, my fiance and my stepkids. That's the life. That's the life I want. It's the one I miss. We're dating, so that's good. I'm still not welcome to live there, but I'm there sometimes, and I still get to see my dogs. And like my stepson started talking to me again. Well, I guess actually just talking to me. I wasn't very nice to him for a little while, but he started confiding stuff in me and talking to me. So that's a big one. My stepdaughter calls me every now and again. She lives in Idaho. It's hard keeping in contact with somebody all the time if they live 1,000 miles away. So I'm just trying to get my head strong again and let the relationship heal. I lived in a really, really long depression with her, and was just not like, I'm not an abusive guy, but I was not a fun person to be around for a couple years, and she stuck with me. That wasn't the issue. She's even told me, she's like, if that was it, it would have been fine. It was being in a psychosis and leaving. I was off my medication and just not doing great. And I packed a bag and I was like, I'm out. And we didn't talk for a couple weeks, and we started talking again, and it was just like, we both came to the conclusion that I can't live there. Kind of rightly so. It sucks. I fucking miss it. I miss my bed. I miss waking up in the same place every day. I miss my coffee pot. Like, I miss a bunch of shit. The ability to do laundry whenever the fuck I want. Take a shower whenever I want. Shit like that. But we're working on stuff. I didn't lose that life completely. I just handicapped it. So I'm trying. So like, I'm paying. I help her out financially to keep the keep a roof over their head. They're my family. It's the one I have. That's the one I picked. So I'm not gonna let them go without or struggle. But I'm struggling. Keep my stick on the ice. That's really it. That's all you can do. Stay at the table and keep fucking playing. I'm surprised too. The last short I put with this fucking thing on my nose, dude. I'm surprised nobody pointed that out. So this exists in like the last fucking 20 videos I made, and it was a pimple that was under the skin. And fucking my last shift at work, Friday night, I cut it off with a razor blade so I could get in there, and I woke up this morning and it was fucking huge. Big mistakes were made. My girl's been telling me that for years, though, of like, I'll get like a bug bite or something, I'll just cut that fucker off. Apparently you're not supposed to do that, but that's good, Adventure. I'm glad you've been on your meds. And did you say you've been married for 11 years? What you said? Damn, bro. You're fucking... Like, the whole time you've been with her? That's where I'm at. Like, part of me is like, I don't think I could do a relationship that long without medication. I couldn't raw dog that whole thing, you know what I mean? I needed some type of chemical to fix my shit. Fuck, dude. Congratulations. I remember, so like, when I was growing up, like, 17 altogether? Damn. So like, when I was growing up, like, you would have just said that, it would have been like, yeah, we've been married for 11 years. I wouldn't have batted an eye. I would have not even paid attention, you know what I mean? But now it's like, damn. I feel like everybody gets, you get married after dating for 3 months, and then you get divorced 2 months later, and you marry somebody else. I think that's kind of what's normal. Now, if I read that exact thing, I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's pretty normal. It's good shit, man. You guys like high school sweethearts or college? There's also, it's extremely comical. So I feel old. I'm definitely aged past what my body is. But I'm turning 32 in July. Like I'm not old. I'm just really tired. But I'm not old. My fucking body's just beat to shit. I'm missing like all my cartilage and my spine's fucked up and my head's broken. But other than that, I'm pretty young. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So like I just feel old. But I was going through my analytics on like who, I was kind of interested in who watches my videos, and it's like 50%. See, there you go. And that's what I was just about to say. I was going to say, I was going through thinking people were going to be around my age, like 37. All right, spot on. Like, but I was going through 51% of my audience is between the age of 50 and 65. So like when you're saying you're 50, I'm like, oh, okay, that checks out. That was two of you here. One's going to be 37, one's going to be 50. That's about right. The analytics aren't lying. That's why I like math. Numbers are super important. Yeah, I'm just fucking. Well, I got other shit. I've had health problems since 2015. My realistic clock is broken. Am I 37? No, I'm only 32. My life expectancy is not great. Mid 40s is what the doctors are thinking now. The oncologist is thinking mid 40s. But they also gave me 6 months. March of 2019? March of 2019, so you know what I mean? I guess it's the demographic. It's just middle-aged. Like pissed off middle-aged men. That like that's who gets me, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, I'll be 32 in July. It was funny. I was just talking to. I've been actually having this conversation. I've had this conversation with my stepdaughter. She's 22, and a couple people like the girl that lives here, my friend's daughter. She's 20. And they've both brought up like how horrible it must be to be a middle-aged white dude, and I was just like, because they're both like liberal, right? So that's like a weird thing for a liberal to say. And I was like, I started hearing that shit like 10 years ago, and it was funny to me. Like, middle-aged white dudes being like, it's so hard to be a middle-aged white dude. I was like, what are you talking about? Shut the fuck up. Like, you're stupid. That is the silliest shit I've ever heard. And now, with everything going on, I'm just like, all right, that's starting to make a lot of sense. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's kind of, fuck, that's accurate. Fucking middle-aged. My soul is way over the hill, dude. Yeah, I've been struggling with chest pain for the last couple days. Not like chest pain, chest weight. It's like weighted. The thing that really causes a lot of chest pain is my I do muscle relaxers, but they're fucking strong. They are strong muscle relaxers. So I only take them when I really need them. So like naturally when I actually take them, I probably needed them for too long. And one of the main side effects that I experience is they weaken your heart. Because how fucking strong they are. So like I'll take like one a day for like 3-4 days. I can feel it. My fucking my chest starts to have issues. The main thing that I don't really have too many side effects of my medication. The main one is I'll eat a lot and then pass out for a couple hours. My weight fluctuation is real bad because of my medication. Like I go from anywhere from 106, like I'm 6 feet tall. I go anywhere from like 165 pounds, which just looks gross, to like 235, which is just like, I don't know. I think I look a lot better at 235 than I do at 165. I can say that much. Because I have a very wiry, scrawny frame. Yeah, food naps, dude. I'll eat an entire loaf of bread worth of peanut butter sandwiches and then pass out for 3 hours. It's like a fucking zombie. I used to walk around, I'd take my meds, and then like 20 minutes later, it was like I was fucking blackout drunk stumbling through the house trying to make it to the pantry. It's a hidden cost. That's for bipolar. A lot of bipolar medication actually does that to you. And it's a hidden cost that people don't think about. My food budget doubles or triples when I'm taking my medication. Like, when I'm off my meds, I don't have to fucking eat ever, dude. It'll be 2-3 days, and someone will be like, "When's the last time you ate?" And I'll be like, "Oh shit, what's today?" Like, "Oh, it's been a little bit." And then like I'll force myself to eat a meal. Like, I don't really have that much of an appetite. But man, when I'm on my meds, I eat so fucking much. Like, I'm talking like spending $50-$60 myself on McDonald's and eating it in one sitting, dude. Like, I eat so fucking hard. And then that's like the only time I've ever experienced it. My head will hit the pillow and like I'll find a YouTube video to put on and instantly out. I don't remember what I put on. Just fucking done. Like, so fucking tired. And it's like going from like feeling like you're starving to death and shoveling food in your mouth to just waking up is really strange. It's a very bizarre feeling. But yeah, like I remember my son's mom when we first started living together. She noticed it, and after like I think 2 nights, she was just like, Are you drinking?" And we started living together when I was 4 years sober. She's like, are you like drinking?" I was like, "No." She's like, "What's going on?" Like, you'll get up like 4 times to raid the fridge, and then you'll pass out. And like you can't walk in a straight line. I was like, "No, that's Seroquel." Like, that's all it is. I don't know if you have experience on Seroquel, but that shit is fucking. Oh man, it does wonders. It helps my fucking mood, and it sure as fuck helps me sleep. And like, it's just like alcohol too. My ability to make rational decisions is not there. I have eaten raw chicken off the bone from the fridge because food. That's why. Food. I was on Lexamil for a little bit. I was on Prazosin for a while. I was on Zyprexa for a little while. Those are kind of the main 2. I've been on some like other weird shit. The Prazosin was not good. I was actually on one of the clinical trials for Prazosin because it was marketed for people with PTSD as a dream suppressant. It was supposed to make you not remember your dreams or have bad dreams, I guess. It was supposed to get rid of your nightmares. But apparently all it did was actually just intensify your nightmares. You just didn't remember them. So as far as at the time in 2012, early 2013, if you're on that medication, it actually just made you worse, but you couldn't tell why. And then I forgot what the fucking other one was called. I had to get lithium. I was on lithium for fucking ever. That was not good. I was on lithium for like 6 years. You had a dream about taking a pill when you got up this morning. Huh. I don't think there's enough context or knowledge about who you are for me to make a comment. I had comments, but I'm not going to make them. A therapist suggested it. I had to go to 3 different doctors to get a prescription. And I didn't really notice anything about it. But that was in my first wave of trying to get on medication and try therapy and like to do the stuff doctors were telling me to do. I don't trust doctors. I don't feel like they know what they're talking about. But it took me a long time to realize like me running the show and calling the shots was just definitely not working. So like I went through a lot of different medications in like the first couple of years. to try to figure stuff out. And then we found out I'm very medication resistant. So like the medications I have to be on a lot of it for it to work. So like my Seroquel, that's my main antipsychotic stuff I have to take. I have to take extended release. I have to take that during the day, and then I have to take a large helping of it at night. So I don't think I have an unbiased opinion on it because we didn't know that it didn't work. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. And like, don't get me wrong, I still think most psychiatrists don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But like statistically, some of them have to know what they're talking about, you know, in regards to at least one thing. So like that's what I did for a while. I went to different psychiatrists and like I worked with them diligently for like a year and then fired them and went to get a different one. I had to do that a lot. It took probably close to 4 years to get me on the right medication. And like I'm still not at, I'm sure you went through the stage too of like I hit that spot where I just don't take it anymore. And then I go off the deep end and then like shit's gonna get really fucked up in my head and I'll be like, all right, I'll go back on my medication. And then like I'm all better. So like the longest run I had on my medication was 3 years I was on my meds. That's it. Like, I know they work. I do a lot better. Like, I still struggle. I still feel shit. I still have ups and downs. I can still be manic. I can still be depressed. But, like, the good shit comes with that, too. Because, like, I can actually feel joy and happy. And I have a libido and, like, you know, all that stuff. Because, like, before they would just give me, like, they would numb me out. They'd take away all the good stuff. It's getting fucking cold. My headache went away, though. Yeah, I fucking, and, like, I'll stop taking them and not be okay. Like, when I'm talking about, like, not taking my meds, I'm talking about for, like, months. I'll just be like, nope, not taking them. I'm doing just fine without them. There's a weird mixture of, I do legitimately sometimes feel like I can do okay without my medication. I do feel that way sometimes. Or then I feel like I should be able to do okay without my medication. And that's when the dangerous thought process comes in. And then when my head's kicking the shit out of me and I'm kicking the shit out of me, a part of me feels like I deserve it. It's an atonement that I start feeling. And like that's a common one because I do end up talking to a lot of other vets, a lot of them. I talk to them through like Discord and people I know here in town. And there's like you get guilt. You have guilt and burden of responsibility and burden of memory, and you feel like you need to take your lashes for it. So then I'll go through that stage, and that's when shit's really bad. That's when I'm laying on the shower floor for hours at a time, letting scalding hot water hitting me, listening to like 500 Death Punch on repeat. It's not good. It's not healthy. So I have to go through a stage of that for some amount of time before I'm like, okay, enough's enough. I took my licks. I can go be happy again. And it's really weird. Yeah, it's hard too, especially if you're in the U.S. Because they want to give you the designer medications. They don't care about what actually works. They want to give you the ones that are designed and the ones that they are told that they should be pushing. It gets really hard. And it's the social climate in the U.S. right now is really hard too because like everybody has trauma. That's what we were talking about earlier, right? Like everybody has some level of trauma, you know. if you've had a perfectly sheltered, easy life and someone pushed you off your bicycle in 6th grade and you scuffed your knee real bad, that is your threshold of trauma. That is what you know. That's your trauma. It's the conflation of trauma to PTSD. That if something can be deemed traumatic, you have PTSD. So we see that with, we started seeing that in the 90s with kids not paying attention to shit. So all of a sudden, every kid under the age of 10 has ADHD. All right, well, we don't want to talk to all these fucking kids, so let's just give them all Ritalin. There you go. So that's a lot of what's happening right now with bipolar, depression, and PTSD. There's a huge influx. You can't process it all. You can't fine tune it all. And they just, here's these medications. Bye. You're a little sad. Here's your fucking Xanax. Leave me alone. And if you don't actually have depression and you're taking Xanax, you just become addicted to Xanax. You know what I mean? So like it's fucking crazy, and like that's you're not even seeing it just with mental health stuff. You're seeing it with like autism. Like there's a huge difference between 1990 autism and 2020 autism. Like now it's on a spectrum, it's a scale, it's this whole thing. It's like, yeah, but when, one person has autism in a town, they get treatment. They get a better quality of life. They get care. When everybody in your fucking town has autism, the one that has it real bad gets ignored. Because everybody has it. And like that's happening with PTSD a lot right now. And it's weight of words. I don't like the classification of PTSD anymore. Because it was called combat fatigue, shell shock, like stuff like that, and it had a different weight. Someone actually suggested a while ago that if I just generically bring up PTSD, I just call it shell shock. But everything's getting softer, and like the words don't have meaning anymore. You hear it with sexual assault too. Victims of sexual assault, it'll be, someone touched your leg at work. Okay, yep, that's technically sexual assault. Someone full top of the spectrum R-wording you, that's sexual assault. But in conversation, it means the same thing. We're the same because it's sexual assault. And like that's, you know what I mean? Yeah, this self-diagnosis of like I don't understand the mental health self-diagnosis. I really fucking don't. I don't get it. I don't think you can have PTSD from someone calling you names in high school. And like that might be because mine's at a different extreme. Mine's at an extreme, so like I'm viewing it at such a lower level that it's not possible. Like I cannot understand it. But like, I don't know. And like I'm aware that it works the other way, right? So like I have PTSD from, being at war and doing all that stuff. And so like there are places in this world where if I went and cried to somebody about that, they'd be like, that just sounds like every day for me for my whole life. There are places in the world that is like that. It's war every day. It's survival every day. And they've been doing it for 40, 50, 60 years. And like if I told them like I struggled because of this for, this 4-year chunk of my life, they'd be like, oh, right. Like I went through about that much before I even turned 4. So I try to hold that perspective. But some of the stuff like, okay, like a big one I can use as an example of bipolar 1. A lot of people will say they have bipolar. Right? Absolutely, every day. It was really nice talking to you, buddy. I hope I didn't say anything that offended you or anything. I just, get on my rants or whatever. But it was nice chatting with you, for sure. And thank you for keeping me company and listening to me spout off a bunch of nonsense. But, like, the bipolar, there's actually psychiatrists and psychologists that'll tell you bipolar 2 is complete bullshit. They write that in people's charts to let other doctors know they're full of shit. Because for a long time it was only bipolar, and they were only talking about bipolar 1. That's extreme chemical imbalance that fluctuates. So you get, here's a big shot of depressed chemical for you for the day. Oh, here's your fucking mania for the day. That's what bipolar 1 is. And a lot of people will be like, yeah, I get it, I have bipolar. Like, and I'll be like, what kind? And they'll be like, oh, also 1. And I'll be like, oh, so you understand what mania is and stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, I get manic. It's like, oh, when's the last time you were hospitalized? And I'll be like, oh, I have never been in the hospital. Bipolar 1 is one of the only mental health diagnoses you can get that requires you to have been hospitalized. You've always thought you suffer from it because you have a conscience and you do feel guilt. I don't know if it's wording or miswording, but I don't know what you're trying to tell me. Suffered from what? Like, you talking about PTSD, bipolar? But yeah, bipolar 2, there's only 2 symptoms, there's only 2 modes you have. You have lesser depression and hypomania. So lesser depression is you're a little bit sad, and hypomania is you're a little bit energetic. You don't have depression or mania with bipolar 2. And like, if it's, the lesser, like, you're not going to try to unalive yourself, and you're not going to spin out in mania and be psychotic. So it's pretty much like a bipolar 2 diagnosis is, oh, they're just a normal person, but they're special, Yeah, and like, I had that mentality. Okay, I get what you mean. That's kind of what I thought. So like, that's a big thing with PTSD. There's an over empathy to it. I know what it's like because people can only imagine, right? If you've not been in it, you can only imagine. But like, to take another life, even in war, doesn't matter what you believe in, what's going on. As soon as you do it, you understand the weight. You understand what the fuck just happened, and as soon as it happens, something inside of you changes immediately on the spot. It is a switch that will never be unswitched. It's just, that's it now. I was a very, very different. I was incredibly violent before I enlisted. When I got out, I hate violence. I will not do violence. I detest violence. Mama didn't raise no bitch, and I'll fight for me and mine, but I won't go out of my way to be violent. And when I was younger, I would. Before I enlisted, I was a very violent person. The Army removed violence from me. War removed violence from me because I know what actual violence is. I know what that weight is. I lived in the projects in Boston as a teenager, and there was violence every day. You know what I mean? That was just part of life. And like, turns out I don't really care to start any type of argument with you because you scuffed my shoe. Don't give a fuck. Like, it puts a whole new weight on the world. Like, shit's got to be real, real fucking important for me to have any type of violence or aggression. So, like, there is an empathy to it. I found I do have a love of people. Like, before I went in the military, I hated people. When I was in the military, I started loving people. Not just the people I was with. Like, going into a village where everybody hated you, except this one family invited you in for dinner, and you just sat there and laughed, and like, everything was good. Like, that level of grace in a place where you're hated is fucking amazing. people that are not eating every day, giving you things just to say thank you. You know what I mean? Um, and like that's the thing. Conflict itches that little like my lizard. That's kind of what it is. Your lizard brain changes. Your instincts change. Is what happens. That's what war does to you. Your instincts are changed. And I don't think they can unchange. Um, I don't think there's something that could match that level of extreme to cause a change. Um, so like when shit pops off, when shit gets loud, it happened at work the other day. You know, and shit gets tense. I'm the guy. I'm the guy you want. I am fucking calm as a cucumber. I'm good. I'll de-escalate. Everything's fine. After that, once everything's good and I'm aware it's good, um, then I'm not okay. It's almost immediate. There's actually studies when it comes to people going into crisis. So you start at your baseline, you pop up to crisis, and then you crash. Because anybody who goes into crisis, it doesn't matter if you're a soldier, some thug on the street, or a schizophrenic in a psych hospital. Like, when you peak, your emotions get so high that you're screaming, yelling, stomping, getting ready to fight, that adrenaline's pumping, it'll go away and you'll crash. You'll fall into a depressive. Boom. What the studies show with people like me who work with people like that, they'll go up into their crisis, they'll peak out, I'll de-escalate them, they'll be on their way down again, and I'll escalate, and then my escalation will cause them to re-escalate, and it can be a very vicious loop. Because then you're dealing with somebody that's just now starting to calm down, and you're starting to ramp up. And then you make them ramp up again, and it can go back and forth like that. That's the challenge I face at night, because I work nights by myself. I am solo. The day people, there's a nurse there, and then there's the administrator who's there. So there's 3 people during the day, and I'm by myself at night. And I'm sure you know, when it comes to symptoms of mental health issues, night times are a lot more worse than a day. That's why I started streaming at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning, because I'm struggling because it's nighttime. So, like, I'm very good at the de-escalation. I'm very good at taking control. But when I have to be in those moments, then the clients they go to bed, they're sleeping, and I'm in the office doing breathing exercises trying to calm myself down, because then I'm not doing okay. But like when I first, especially when I was in the job, it was very much, oh, they're dead. They're dead. Nothing you can do about it. They're gone. I was very cold to it. Super cold. And then I got out and I started to thaw a little. You remove yourself from the stress. You start to be able to process things. But then it became a matter of, all right, I've been home for 4 days, and now my head is trying to process 4 fucking years of shit. And it can't. It can't. Your brain's super strong, but it cannot. So, like, now I bottle it up, I clamp down on it so it doesn't get out, and then I'll start to let out little pieces, like, release a little bit of a pressure gate, but then a flood happens, and I clamp it shut again, and it's this whole fucking back and forth, dude. Yeah, and like, you start feeling it. I do that too. I'll get in an argument, and then it's a disproportionate level of guilt for the argument, and I'm really fucking good at kicking the shit out of myself. Like, I've gotten in arguments and then been like, I'm sorry. Like, I was fucking out of line. I didn't need to say what I said. And I've had someone look me in the eye and go, it's all right. I understand. I'm not upset. It's over and done with. You're fine. And like, they're genuine about it, and I believe them. But I'm not done. Like, I have not let it go for myself. And that's what I was talking about for the atonement. I have a lot of guilt in there and regret. And like, I feel like my head imploding and me feeling the way I feel is a fitting punishment to the guilt. So it makes me hold on to that mindset longer than I should. But people that don't have PTSD, they have in real time processed their life. This bad event happens, all right, we process it. Okay, we're good. Oh, next bad event, we process it, we're good. There was what time in, I did 2 years in Iraq and a year and a half in Afghanistan, right? In that whole time, when was I supposed to sit in my tent for a month and process things and be okay? You know what I mean? Like there's no time for that. You got a job to fucking do. It's, damn, today was tough. I'm gonna try to sleep for 2 hours and then put my boots back on and go back to work. You know what I mean? Like there's no time to process anything. So it stacks on itself. So like if you want to take that ratio where like some traumatic thing, right? So like it's say a very close loved one passes away. It's probably going to take you like when my sister died, I processed that one in real time. It took me like probably 2 months to be okay, to like the point where I was all right. I was smiling more than crying, I guess. So 51% okay. It took me probably 2 months. So how many days were worth that process ratio in almost 4 fucking years that would have needed 2 months to process? So you're going from 48 to needing 96 months of process. How the fuck do you do that? The anxiety is pretty bad. I get anxiety over everything, dude. I get anxiety over things being okay. I get anxiety over things not being okay. I get anxiety about money. Fucking everything, dude. It's everything. It's sometimes the worst ones is when I know I can identify that I am anxious. I know it. I know I'm anxious. I just don't fucking know why. Like that's really nice where it's like right now I have undertow of anxiety because I have $10 to my name and I don't get paid for 3 days. Like I literally just said not too long ago, I can make it a couple days without eating. It's all good. I bought this the other day. Unexpected expenses pop up. That's what happened. I thought I was going to have another $200. I don't. So like, it is what it is. So like, that's anxiety. That's fine. I know what it is. All good. Not an issue. You're allowed to have anxiety. Like it's, I think, a human emotion. It's when I don't know what the fuck when I'm just sitting there anxious and I'm fidgeting and I can't make anything right and I can't make the decisive decision making. I'm a very decisive person. Like point A to point B, boom, boom. They fucking hammer that India in 14 weeks. It's the inability to make a choice when I'm anxious. Like the other day, I was at my girlfriend's house, just underlining anxiety. Don't know what the fuck it is. I'm just anxious. I couldn't even fucking pick a TV show to fucking watch, dude. Like, what is that? I used to be in charge of like 8 dudes with guns running at a bunch of other people with guns. Those choices were really easy, and now I'm at a point where it boils down to is I don't even know which app to open to pick a show. I don't know. I've had literally a headphone in my ear for about 10 years. Because when all else fails, I will put on very loud music. And I wear beanies. That's why I started wearing beanies. Because you can't see my headphone. So I can be having a full-blown kind of conversation with you with fucking some metal playing in my ear. I would probably say the easy, hands down, hardest thing I struggle with now is the dreams. They have gotten no better. They've gotten no better since I got back. And I started having them almost immediately. Probably the first couple weeks were okay. I was just tired. I was relishing having 6 different coffee shops to go to, and I got myself a Philly cheesesteak, some food I was missing, you know what I mean? So I sucked that in for a couple weeks. And then the nightmares started happening, and they haven't gone away. It's been over 10 years. And they compound in each other now. So, like, my son passed away January of 2019. So he's in my dreams now, too. But he's in the war dreams. So, like, that's I guess one of the big struggles outside of the dreams is when something bad happens, it digs all that stuff up and it marries it to it. You know what I mean? Caffeine and nicotine do horrible things for anxiety. They don't help at all. I've I always have something. This was given to me for free. I will point that out. But it's a latte monster. I don't drink many energy drinks, but when I can get them, I drink them. I get coffee. I have instant coffee. So I feed myself caffeine because I'm emotionally exhausted. But all I can really feel is the exhaustion. So if you're exhausted, you drink caffeine because then you're not exhausted anymore. But it doesn't actually help with emotional exhaustion. And then I'm a fucking nicotine junkie. It's bad. I'm pretty much at a point where I can safely say I've quit smoking. So that's good. Like cigarettes, I have one. I have a cigarette, but I've had this pack of cigarettes for almost a week. So for a while, I was smoking 2 or 3 packs a day. I haven't had a cigarette all day. I haven't smoked a cigarette today or yesterday. I think I smoked one with the clients on Wednesday. So yeah, it's almost been a week without a cigarette. But I vape. But like this vape will last me a couple weeks. And then I have these, but these are for mostly when I'm going to sleep. And when I'm at work and I can't go outside and vape. Yeah, I was doing all 3 forever. I'm trying like hell to quit. I stopped being able to breathe. I've been smoking. It's the big one for me is like, so I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict, right? So like I drank alcoholically for over 10 years and I did street drugs for about 8 years. So like I'm coming up, I'll have 5 years sober April 1st. I'll have 5 years off of every drug and alcohol. So like cigarettes, I've been taking in nicotine daily, almost daily. A couple times I maybe get locked up or hospitalized. Basic training, it took me 3 weeks to figure out I could buy cigarettes off the kitchen staff. So I've been smoking basically nonstop for 25 years with no desire. When I got the first cancer diagnosis in 2015, nope, smoked. When I came out of remission in 2019, smoked. And now I'm at a point where, like, I don't like smelling like cigarettes is a big one. And the financial drain. I can't afford it, and it stresses me out. And because nicotine is my tool to handle stress, I'll ingest more. So it doesn't matter what I'm stressed about, because I up my cigarette intake. No matter what, after a couple of weeks of being stressed out, I'm financially stressed because I've smoked all my money. So, like, you know what I mean? It's the weirdest thing, getting stressed out about money. So your solution to it is to buy more cigarettes. Like, logically, it's fucking bizarre, but I can't help it. So, like, I'm trying to reduce. Like, I would rather do a can of these than a pack of cigarettes a day. They're a little bit cheaper. They don't smell. This is fucking banana ice cream. It tastes just like a fucking banana Laffy Taffy. It's good. If you have Geek bars, banana ice cream is where it's at. And I also live in a state where they got rid of flavoreds. It'll cost you $2? Where the fuck you live, dude? Oh, you live in South Africa. That's crazy. $2 motherfucking dollars? fuck, bro? Are the women pretty? Like, shit, I might move. I might quitting smoking cigarettes and fucking move to South Africa. Goddamn. And English is a common language in South Africa, right? Hell yeah, they're pretty. Shit. Yeah, I've met a lot of people. I stream on Twitch. I'm actually probably going to be switching from this to Twitch in a little bit because I have a mental health community I have on Twitch. I have a mental health Discord. There's all sorts of my actual Discord. I made a server. It's all for mental health stuff. We're actually internally dealing with a thing because one of our core members is in the hospital for a suicide attempt. Because like it was actually doing really well and it was thriving, but then I got depressed and I stopped. It was like my baby for like 6 months. Super interactive with it all day, every day. Any time of night, I was in there fucking talking to people and like putting a lot of work into it. We built it up. There's a lot of people talking every day. Like waking up every morning to like 6-7 people doing gratitude lists was really fucking cool. It was really cool. I'm big into gratitude lists. And then I hit my depressive streak for a couple months, and because I wasn't pumping my energy into it, it kind of diminished. So I'm trying to build it back up. But I stream on Twitch and I play random AFK games. Just to have something occupying my time, but we talk about stuff. So like that's been fulfilling. I've been doing that for like almost a year now. But I get people because it's meant for it's a mental health stream. So I get people from all over the world that are struggling that come through Twitch and just need someone to talk to. And I actually do get a lot of people from South Africa. Oh, that's one of the biggest things. I don't like people saying that suicide doesn't end the pain; it just gives it to somebody else. Um, I've dealt with losing someone I loved to suicide, and I've dealt with being suicidal, and I can honestly tell you from firsthand experience, in my opinion, what you're feeling from being suicidal is worse. It's worse. You wouldn't want to do that. Like you wouldn't want to, have a kid deal with that for sure. You don't want any of your kids to go through any type of pain if you can help it. But like that's one of the sayings I really don't like. Like you got to be in a fuck ton of pain to want to end it. Like that's not a casual thing. You got to be fucking hurting. But you're sick. Like that's the big one. You're sick. If you're in that level of emotional pain that you're thinking about ending it, you're sick. Like you need help. You're a sick person. And that's not your fault. But like I don't know. I used to hear that a lot. Like think about so and so, and I'd be like, are they depressed too? Like we can do it together. Like I don't know what you want from me. That's the scary part of being depressed is I get cold to everything. You know what I mean? And I'm glad you didn't do it. Like don't get me wrong. I'm glad your kid doesn't have to grow up with that stuff. Yeah, so like fucking good for you for making it through it. And it takes what it takes. I don't know. I've been told stuff like that about my daughter. Like you want your daughter to grow up without her dad. And at the time I was like, I won't care. I'll be dead. You know what I mean? Like that was my exact response. Was why would I care? I'd be dead. You know, it doesn't like that argument didn't work for me. I will say the one thing I do love about myself is I'm a very transparent person. I'm very transparent. And I don't pull punches. I'll say what I feel. I'll say what I mean. You know. But I'm glad to say it was 6 years ago too, man. That's fucking huge. I haven't had an attempt in Almost 5 years. Wait. What's today's date? Is it the 17th or the 18th? Because I think it's been exactly 5 years. If it's the 17th, it's been exactly 5 years. Oh, so yesterday was 5 years since the last time I was hospitalized for an attempt. And it's hard when like you're that depressed. It's hard to be empathetic like that. For me, it is anyway. It's really hard to be empathetic when I'm that level of depressed. So like, how hard is it? Because like, I'm American, right? So like, how hard is it to actually be like living comfortably in South Africa? Because I have my preconceived notions of what South Africa looks like, but I don't think it's right. It's just what I know as from the lens of an American. You know what I mean? Like you should have heard what they were fucking telling us. The fucking Taliban was like. They weren't fucking anything like that. Like you know what I mean? Or how they were telling us Iraq and Afghanistan were like. It was nothing like what they told us. Nothing fucking close. I mean, them wanting to kill you part was legit, but like outside of that, not really. $18 for 1 rand. So like, what are like wages like? Like you're like, if you have a job there, are you getting paid like a rand a day? Like you know what I mean? Like that's the gauge, I guess. Or like a rand an hour. Wait, wait. Am I reading that correct? So 1 rand is the same as $18. Fuck. You got a strong motherfucking economy then. You make 200 rand a day. All right, so that's got to be inverted then, correct? You're not sitting here telling me that you're making 560, not fucking 360 USD a day. That's 390. I bad math. Okay. All right. I'm like sitting here. I was like, all right, I got to be reading this backwards. Okay. I was like, there's like, damn, I'm moving fucking immediately. Holy shit. If that was the case, I get like $20 in donations off of YouTube a month, and I'd be able to live comfortably. You know what I mean? All right, fair enough. And finding work is difficult. Yeah, that's what I got told by a couple people. We actually found them jobs here in the U.S. Which, if you're really good at understanding English, it's easy to do. You make like $8 or $9 an hour. But with that conversion, even if you call it high side of 10 for an 8 hour day, you're making that's 80. That's over 1,000 rand a day, is what that conversion would be. It's just data entry. They had a computer. They were very well spoken. We figured out a place for them to catch an interview at, and they got hired. Data entry. They just get spreadsheets emailed to them, and they put it in a fucking Excel sheet and call it a day. Yeah. Well, that's cool. That means because I haven't heard from them in 4 months, so hopefully that means they're just still working and they're comfortable. That's what I shifted to because I had the degree in engineering. I was making 6 figures a year for a long time. For a long time, I was making 6 figures, and I was stressed out all the time, and it just really wasn't worth it to me. And now I don't make good money now, based off of where I live. I'm well below the poverty line, but I'm happier. So I'm a lot happier doing what I'm doing. $20 a day for 8 hours? Yeah, that's not great. What's rent? What's a cost of where you live? I'm super self-conscious about this fucking thing on my nose. Looks like I've been fucking smoking meth out of light bulbs again. $7,000 per month? Oh, you get $20 USD, and that's to 18. So we call it 2020, $360 a day. Fuck. Ouchies. Yeah, that's that ratio wise, the labor to rent is basically the same as California. Your income to expenses ratio is almost the exact same as what it is in California. You're talking about some places here, the big cities here, like LA. LA, you're talking about 4 people working 60 hours a week to share a 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah, the big cities in the U.S. are bad. New York's the same way. Boston. The big, huge metropolitan cities are fucking horrid. The politics are real fucking bad, and you have to work a ridiculous amount. Yeah, $380 a month. Oh, and that's basically what you make a week. So actually, that's pretty good. That's better than the city I live in. The city I live in, to get a 1-bedroom apartment would be about $1,200 a month, plus utilities. So it'd be around $1,500 a month, and that's about what I make a month. So it's over half of what I make a month anyway, about 3/4. So that's actually sounds like it's pretty decently comfortable, or it can be. Yeah, that's I basically eat. Well, it's sporadic. I could say I probably eat every other day, and it's about $150 a month. Oh, there's a band of rain coming in. I do like the sound of rain. I wish the roof was metal. My grandparents owned a log cabin in Maine, and it had a tin roof. And it was just fucking really awesome to sit there and listen to the rain hit the tin roof. Yeah, that's the thing. So like the cheap shit cigarettes here are $6 for like the worst cigarettes you can get. Or about actually not even six. They're closer to $7 a pack. If you want like name brand good cigarettes, they're like 12 or 13. Like we get our cigarettes from the tribes. They come from a reservation up north. Like $6 a pack. I gauge everything off of a gallon of milk. So like here, a gallon of milk is $5 for 1 gallon of milk. Yeah, that's the thing that like that means you guys' economy is stronger than ours. That's all that means. You have a stronger economy. You might not have a great job market, but like your economy is a little stronger. It's usually a good gauge. A gallon. I don't know how many liters is in a gallon. 4 liters. I think it's 4 liters for a gallon. Five liters. How much does a liter of milk cost? And well, that's another thing too. Like a lot of other countries, they don't drink milk like Americans do, and they don't eat cheese like Americans do. So it's about the same. It's close. It's somewhere around $2 a liter. So it's about the same. Because they're scaling, right? So if I bought well, it's 4 quarts to a gallon, um, close to $2 for 2 liters. So it'd be about $5 for a gallon. So it's the same. It's usually Megan. That's why it doesn't make any sense. Like people don't understand how money works because everything's weighted off the U.S. dollar for some fucking reason. I have no idea. The U.S. dollar's been fucking weak forever and just getting weaker. But then like they'll be like, oh, like it's 18 rand for 1 USD, so the rand is 18 times weaker. It's like, yeah, but the ratios are all still the same, you dumbass. Like if a gallon of milk ends up costing the same there as it does here, like your hourly rate is kind of close to the same, really. Especially if you look at like your rent cost, your rent is really fucking low. Rent here is extreme. So like your biggest monthly cost is significantly lower than it is here. Well, what's like a new car cost there? Because like if I paid the back registration on this truck and got it registered, I could sell this truck. Um, I could probably get 7 grand for this truck, and it's not even that nice of a truck. I love it. It's my truck, but it's not super expensive, you know. Well, I mean, it is super expensive. So like if I got a new car, it'd be around 40,000 for a new car, you know. Well, for a new truck. For like a normal mid-size sedan, I think they're like usually around 26,000. It's like just a normal 4-door car, about 26,000 somewhere around there. I would be willing to guess that you would pay less for a car there than you would here. Well, no, I think that'd be a supply and demand thing. There's probably a lot more cars here than there. It depends where you're at. Um, it depends where you live. So like, it's a confusion. I think like the entire world gets confused about, including Americans. Like, so we're one country, right? We're the United States. It's 50 states, and basically how they operate, each state is its own country. So like, $600 for a decent running vehicle in probably like Oklahoma, yeah, absolutely. Um, South Carolina, yeah, probably. Florida, yeah, okay. California, no fucking way. Washington and Oregon, nope. New York, nope. Like, so it's like it very much depends on which one of the states you live in. So like Massachusetts, I would say yes. 10 years ago, you could get a decent running vehicle for $600. Now it's 4 or 5 grand. It's a perspective thing because if it's all you know, it's true. But there's an extreme amount of American people that are struggling financially, and when that happens, it doesn't become all right. I'm going to save up for the $600 vehicle. It becomes, well, I have a vehicle that's only worth $600, but I'm hurting for money, so I'm going to ask for 1,000, and that's just kind of crept up. That's crept up a lot. Especially in California, there's a lot of people fucking hurting in California. So if they're at a point where they're going to sell their vehicle, they want all the money for it. So the prices have gone up on anything. Um, so like, what kind of car? Like a decent car where I live? Where I live, you couldn't even get a car that would drive here for $800 where I live. Um, in places like Idaho, for $800, you'd get like a 2015 Honda Civic with like 200,000 miles on it. Like a car that would last you a couple years for like $800. Wow, this is actually like it's really hard. This is something that's really hard to describe and gauge because I've lived all over the place. In California, an $800 car that you can actually drive doesn't exist. Um, the minimum, because they put in a new thing a couple years ago, that if the car can drive, you can scrap it for $1,500. There's like a program where the government or whoever the fuck's doing it, will buy your vehicle off of you. So if it runs, minimum it's worth 2 grand here, just for running. It could need $6,000 in parts put in it, but if it can drive, it's a minimum worth 2,000. I've thought about it, but it's always some weird fucking issue with back registration or something. But there are some cars here that are posted for like $800-900, but they'll have 4 years of back registration and no title. So it's like you'd probably pay like $2,000 for the same. Damn. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like it's like here in California, that same car, like if it can drive, if it's all beat to shit with huge dents and fucking it needs a ton of work, if it can drive, it's worth 2 grand. So like that's where it starts getting confusing because like every state does operate like it's its own country. They have different policies, they have different norms, they have different laws and programs, they have all this stuff. Like that's like I think one of the most hated states in the United States right now is California. That it's a horrible place to fucking live. It's bad. The taxes are bad, the people suck. Like the politics are bad. Like it's a horrible fucking place. Um and like people are like leaving. Like there's a mass exodus of people just moving out of California. They're just done. It's a ton of fucking people are just leaving. Um, and it's because the California economy is really fucked up. But one of the big things California gets put on the hot seat for is our free programs, right? So if like you're like it incentivizes being homeless. I hear that a lot. Well, if California didn't incentivize being homeless, homeless people want to live there. Um, California only incentivizes homelessness if you plan on being homeless your entire life. Um, I have to go down to the office next week and report my income. As soon as I do that, they're going to start garnishing my paycheck. The food stamps they gave me to make sure I could eat to eat when I was hungry, in my health insurance and all that stuff, so I could get my medication. I have to pay all that back. That you don't get that for free. They'll loan it to you, but you pay it back. They're going to take it, you know. So like I got that coming up where they're going to start garnishing my paychecks. Oh, I gotcha. Well, that's stuff you see on TV. Like we do have them. That's a population thing too. If you go to, well, I guess a lot of I guess there's a lot of old classic cars and nice cars in the U.S. Just kind of all over the place, from small towns to big cities. They're kind of all over the place. That is true. I don't really have the appeal for vehicles. Um, like they're supposed to do a job. Like I don't. I get the appeal. I get why people are like super into cars, and they think some cars look really good and some cars don't, and they just love it. Like I do get the appeal, but for me, they're just a vehicle's a tool to get from point A to point B. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, here in the States, it's a very big thing our government's really good at doing is making you afraid of having nothing. Um, oh, I do the same thing. I won't go pay a medical bill. I've stitched myself up, super glued things closed. I've reset my own bones. Like I don't like going to the doctors. I ain't paying a fucking bill. Here it costs $800 to $1,200 if you need to go somewhere in an ambulance. It's very expensive. The hospital is very fucking expensive. Um, but the American government has been very good at making us be afraid of going without. It's fearing poverty, fearing homelessness. You're supposed to fear all these things. It makes you more productive. If you're afraid of not eating, or you're afraid of living on the street, or you're afraid of not having a bigger flat screen TV or a new car, if you're afraid of those things, you'll work more and you'll shut the fuck up. Like that's the big one. You'll shut up and you'll go to work, you know? So like they're very good at making us afraid of things. Um Damn, that's fucking rough. And like that's the thing, like firsthand, this is what I was talking about. Like there are people that their whole life is based around fear of not having something. Where like someone like you'd be like, no, what are you talking about? We never had that. Like you only know what you know, you know? So like I'm the outlier here because I sleep in a detached garage and I don't have indoor plumbing. I have a little bit of electricity. I can have a couple things running at once. So that's cool. But like there's something wrong with me because I'm happy. I'm like it's not ideal, but I am happy because I'm okay. Like I know the contrast. I've lived on the streets for large chunks of my life. I've been homeless in and out of my entire life. So, like, that's fine. It's whatever. I've seen how other people live in other countries. I've lived like that with them. Like, we are fucking, like, America as a whole is extremely fucking spoiled. That's why I think it's funny, because I don't know if you do social media. Um, like, I don't know if you do social media. Yeah, you share whatever you want, man. I don't like censor or do any of that shit, so you can speak freely. But like you'll see somebody talking about how oppressed they are and how oppressed their people are here in the US as they're drinking a Starbucks in their Uber. And they have all these nice clothes on and like, you know what I mean? Where like if you go to a different part of the world, they're like, you know, working 90 hours a week to maybe get food for the day. Like it doesn't make any sense. American people don't actually know what real oppression is. Not anymore. 90% of the cars there are manual? Yeah, and I would say 90% of the US does not know how to drive a manual. My first car was a manual. I have not driven a manual in 15 years. So it would probably take me, I would say, roughly an hour. Or less. If I wasn't worried about damaging the clutch. Probably 15 minutes. But probably within an hour, just going easy on it, I could be back to driving a manual. Like, in driving a manual, two options that Americans usually don't have. You need someone willing to teach you to drive a manual. That's usually the first route people take. The alternative route is you need to be willing to fucking learn something. And there's not too many people that are willing to learn shit. That's the thing. Some of the like yeah, you'd probably do really fucking well in the US, to tell you the truth. Even like from what I've seen from different parts of the world, um being homeless in the United States is nicer than the basic living in some other places in the world that I've seen. We're pampered. I know it. I don't. One of the things I never really cry about is being homeless. Do I like sleeping in a bush when it's snowing and raining? No, I don't. I don't like that. But like, it ain't that fucking bad here. Like, to be homeless, it's a pretty good spot. But like, it's just not ideal. It's not the end goal. But like, it's fucking easy. You get a shit brain dead job here. You make fucking $15 an hour if you're willing to work. So like, I had a job in here in California, the like second highest taxed state. We are taxed like a motherfucker. We lose like a third of our paycheck. And I was working for $15 an hour, and they gave me all the overtime I asked for. It was never, you have to do this. It was never, can you do this? It was, I'm willing to work an extra 4 hours today. I'm willing to work an extra 6 hours today. I will come in for 16 hours on Saturday and Sunday. I worked so fucking much. I fully supported me, my fiance, her 2 kids, 13 dogs, because we had a bunch of puppies. We had money to spare. We were eating fast food. It was easy. I was working 70, 80 hours a week. No problem. You know? Yeah. Yeah, the person I was talking to, I don't remember their name. Their name was Moon something. It was on Twitch. But I sat with them for like, I want to say it was close to like 30 hours in 1 week to land a job here. But they were telling me like getting out of the country is hard. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I don't really know much about working on cars because I haven't had one since I was 15. I had my first car, and my last car, it's the only car that I have ever owned that I've driven, was 17 years ago. You know what I mean? So like I know how to do brakes. You can do brakes and oil changes. I can change a tire, coolant. I can do stuff like that. I taught myself how to replace a power steering pump. So that was, it's not hard. Like I'm mechanically inclined. I can figure it out. I just haven't had the need to, I guess. The only time I've ever had the need to work on a vehicle, I was making enough money to pay a mechanic. So it was one of those like, well, if I don't have time to do it, but I can pay somebody to do it, I'm not going to make time to do it. Yeah, I'll definitely take you up on it. Like I know there's stuff it needs right now off the top of my head that I know. I have to replace the back passenger window. The brakes need to be done. It needs a coolant flush. Like I need to flush the gas. Probably gas, oil, and transmission fluid all needs to be flushed out of it because of how long it's been sitting here. There's some small stuff. The power steering pump took a while. I already got it's got a new battery in it. It needs a I think that's really it that I know of. Yeah, that's all that's really happening. Right now, it's just a money thing for the truck. I just need to get the money together to put it on the road, and then it's small things. Like the brakes still work; they definitely need to be replaced, but they'll do it. A new set of tires might be in order. They're looking a little dry rotted. They're not worn. They got some dry rot. I wouldn't take it on a highway, but I would still drive it like this. So it's just small stuff and time. The window will probably be one of the last things because I don't give a shit if it's missing a back window. I like go to Home Depot and get a piece of plexiglass or something and stuff it in there. That'll be fine. Air conditioner don't work. Really don't give a fuck. It will probably never work. I don't care. It's got two windows. Like I don't care. Um, but yeah, it's just little stuff. Needs a good cleaning. Nothing crazy. Yeah, I know that from doing well, from basic engineering really. Let air back in. It'll drain quicker and cleaner. It's the same thing. Like I remember the first oil change I did. I took the plug out of the oil pan, put the plug back in, and then took the oil filter off. Apparently, that's the exact wrong way to do that. Um, the only thing I'm confused about was the shifting thing. So when you shift it, so it's automatic. When you shift it, it's showing half gear. So I don't know if it seems to me like without knowing much that the transmission was dropped and put back in misaligned. It's almost like it's a couple teeth off. But I don't think yeah, but it's not grinding or anything. Like I've driven it and I've had it running. Like I didn't drive it far. I drove it maybe 200 feet, but it didn't make any grinding. There was no bucking. There was no nothing. It just like it shifts a little weird. I think that's it. So like I don't think it's an issue. And the only reason why I did not drive it anymore at that time is because there was no power steering, and that was right after I threw my back out. It's through the column, so there is a linkage. It goes through the column under the hood and then back down. So the what do you call it? Drivetrain is like a V. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I talked to my buddy here in town that was a mechanic, and he was pretty much like he was asking me stuff, and I was like, it doesn't make any noise. Like a lot of his stuff was it doesn't make any weird noises in reverse, drive, when it's idling, and it doesn't. I mean, I didn't go through I didn't go through like low and high or anything, but it's not making any noises. And I checked some stuff online to see if it was an issue, and like the only thing I could find that said if there was an issue also mentioned there'd be a noise or a feel. There's no, it doesn't pulse, it doesn't buck, there's no grinding sounds, there's no nothing. So if it's just a matter of, because it could just be like something was done to it and like the fucking indicator's a little off. Because it's not digital or anything. It's just a little fucking, you get a little bar that goes from reverse to drive and whatever. So like that part of it might be a little off. And if that's the case, it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? If like it got opened up at the steering wheel and fucked with, and that gear ratio is just a little fucked off. So I don't, it's an automatic. So like if I plan on driving and going forward, I just make sure it's in the right spot. So, but I'm gonna wrap up this little stream. It was really nice talking to you and getting to know you, dude. Yeah, it's one of those things that I might not even fix. It just is what it is. It's the same thing as like this cigarette lighter has like he rigged like a USB to it, and it's fallen inside the dash. I ain't gonna fix that either. Like, I want this truck to get me from point A to point B. That's it. It ain't supposed to do anything more than that. And the frame's a little bent, but whatever. But I am gonna stop streaming right now because I'm gonna stream on Twitch in probably an hour or two. So I'm gonna decompress for a little bit. Oh, thanks for the subscription, man. I appreciate that. I'll try to go live again. I'm not really often in the mood to go live, but I'll go live again at some point. If not, I'm trying to do a short a day, just about at least how I'm feeling or a thought or something. So we'll do that. But I'm looking forward to talking to you more. It's wheels. We'll stick with wheels then. Wheels it is. Yeah, it's wheels. I'm gonna fucking get a big black paint marker and just write wheels on the back of this. But I'll talk to you soon, man. It was really nice chatting with you, and I hope you have a great day, man. And it sounds like you're doing good, but keep on keeping on and fighting, you know. Talk to you later, man.